any inputs, contributions? If there are none, before I hand over the microphone to Mr. Awesa to do the conclusion, I just want to highlight two things that were said. One of the presenters, pointed out that the descendants of genocide cannot take this matter for granted. And then there was also something that was very instructive that Mrs. Chitunga pointed out, that the will of the people. So when we're talking about the issue of genocide, we're talking about the will of the descendants, who have been cautioned not to take this matter for granted. So it means this issue does not belong to any individual, but it belongs to all the descendants. And every descendant, it is incumbent upon you or her to show interest in this matter, not only to show interest, but to stand up. You don't need to join any organization. From where you are, you need to speak up about this issue, especially given that, as it has been pointed out, that this motion is basically, stagnant, as has been shown that there was a joint declaration, but this joint declaration is currently in limbo. We don't know where it is. I am made to understand that the Vice President would next week, be calling all the descendants together. We don't know what kind of feedback he's going to give them, but all we know is that this issue is stagnated, and it is incumbent upon the descendants to stand up and give the direction to this issue. I thank the viewers out there, I thank the presenters, and I thank the people in the studio here. And okay, Mr. Chubumbi has got something finally to say. Yeah.
Thank you very much. My name is Rekonja Shukuru. I'm here in my personal capacity as an activist in the genocide movement. I want to thank and appreciate the contributions by the presenters, and a special shout out to go to the organizers of Otjetu for presenting this platform for us to relook or to revisit the genocide issue. At the opening, the chairperson did make a note, or was it Mr. Kawesa, who said at least we are in October, and this is the month where the extermination order was issued, which is true. So that makes October very special. I also want to add to that the month of October in 2011, that is when the first skulls or remains of our people were also returned to Namibia. That add to the significance of this month. The panelists also have alluded to the issue of the 2006 motion. May I remind all of us that that motion was adopted on the 26th of October 2006. You cannot run away from the month of October and its significance in the genocide movement and cause of the genocide. Now to move on a little bit, one of the aspects, and I have listened to many people who are at the forefront of this movement, irrespective of which group you are, I think there is a consensus in terms of our demands from the Germans. I want to know if there is any other person who has something else, but from my own reading and understanding and following this, all of us are demanding that Germany should recognize that the acts they committed during the period 1904-1908 are acts of genocide. We all agree. I want to know if there is anybody out there who doesn't. We all agree that we are demanding an unconditional, unequivocal apology from the German government. And we all agree that considering that it is a genocide by any international law, there should be a reparation. People should be repaired. So if we all agree on that one, it's just the modalities and the approach which differs. Now, in terms of the road which we have taken, I think the panelists have also touched on the issue of how far we have gone in terms of the motion, how far we have gone in terms of the road which was in terms of trying to collaborate with the government. But I want to touch especially in terms of where the presentation on making the motion to move or to start giving the motion some life, and that is to coming up with or starting a process of taking this motion from where it is to an act of parliament in the Namibian government. But I would also like to add, let us also come up with modalities on how we can also ensure that the Bundestag or the government or the German parliament also put it in law in their parliament, so that at least successive governments have an obligation to take this issue forward. It does, and Ms. Malaga have also, Situga has also clearly stated that in its current state of just being a motion, any other successive government can come and scratch it off every document and start doing and not giving it the momentum it deserves. But once we put it in parliament, in the form of an act, any successive government have an obligation to take it forward. It did also, the panelists have make it also a point that for us, and that also addresses the first point which I have mentioned, that if we all agree that we are converging on these 3 points of recognition of the genocide, apology, unconditional apology, and reparation, there is a need, therefore, that we speak the same words, and that calls for a conference on genocide where all stakeholders can come together and agree on a clear, direct, common approach which we can put on the table with our government and then take it to the Germans as a unit. I only wanted to add that words so that at least moving forward from here, we don't see ourselves in our respective components or in our respective corners, that we are Otjisuta here, so and so is there, so and so is there. Identify the common elements where we all agree. Let us come up with a modality on how best we can take the issue forward. Make sure that at least we have a legal leg to stand on in terms of making these things through the parliament, and come up with a national conference on genocide where we are all going to put our ideas together and prepare one document which we can stand behind as a group from Namibia. Thank you very much.
I think we should now be moving towards closing. I'll just give each of my panelists, a brief remark, starting with Mr. Chombubi and then ending with Mr. Kaweza, and then Mr. Kaweza will do the conclusion. Okay.
Good day. My name is Otjetu, and I'm a member of the descendants of the victims of the genocide. As we all know, we are all born from these descendants, and we, as a member of the descendants and the society, I have had a lot of talk about the genocide, and we have some platforms where genocide is being discussed, and we are all talking about one thing. What I want to know from Otjisuta is how far did Otjisuta go in terms of reconciling the two previously platforms, which were the one which was headed by President of Windhoek, Ms. Munyanga, under the auspices of the Otjetu, and the one which was headed by some group from the chiefs, which were working in collaboration with the government. How far did Otjisuta go to reconcile this? And another thing is the institutionalizing the motion, as Master Ms. Sidunga pointed out. And I think Otjisuta we're supposed to push it, the institutionalization of this motion, so that it can be discussed at the level of government as an act of parliament. That is the only way we can force our government to take responsibility. And once it is now passed as an act of parliament, there will be a ministry tasked for the implementation of that act of parliament. And I think, as Shikuze pointed out, we have to come up with modalities of modus operandi, so that we can suggest to the government how we want this act to look like. And this act should address our interest as the descendants of the genocide. And these things we should not be prescribed. We should prescribe to government that this is the content of that act, and these are the programs and projects we want now that act to address, so that it can benefit us as descendants of the genocide. I think that is the way to go, and I think Otjisuta, together with the other two forums, can come together and we part the way of talking with the one voice towards Otjisuta that will benefit all of us. I think that's all I can say, but I know Otjisuta was highlighted by Ms. Sidunga about the objectives of Otjisuta. And one of the objectives that's standing out to me is that this Otjisuta want to reconcile the two platforms where Otjisuta is discussed, so that we can just have one voice to discuss this Otjisuta. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Otjetu. I think the unity of purpose and the unity of approach is the vision of Otjisuta Oveni right from the beginning, and we have tried that several times in terms of inviting the traditional chiefs to come together and start talking together so that they can have a unity of purpose in terms of the number of narratives that is running in the topic of the genocide and its reparations. And one distinct achievement that we can point to is the recently meeting that was held at Okanjo there, where the traditional chiefs, various traditional chiefs, I think a number of 8 that came together, and out of that process was able to have a memorandum of understanding on which they are operating at the moment. So I think in terms of that we have achieved. All what we are now still needing to go ahead with is the creating the understanding in terms of the whole members of the descendants of the genocide, of the victims, descendants of the victims of the genocide, so that at least they can also come together and have a common understanding and a common purpose. Thank you so much. Mr. Chairman, yeah, I would pass over now to Mr. Chobumbi to have a small strong.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Kawesa. Indeed, I just want to correct few things as my concluding remarks, and that is to say that, my dear Alan, also, thank you when you are mentioning about the month of October, since it's also my birthday month. So, what I'm doing correlates with the month of October. And having said that, I want to highlight the issues of the minorities of our population. In particular, the minorities of the Ovaherero, Ovaherero, and Nama communities. It is worse because of genocide. It was not biological. And we need to take it from that angle. When people in developmental aspects are taking place in our country and through our government, we need to note that we becoming part of the minorities is because of genocide. And it is for that reason that we need to fight, and I'm calling upon especially the youth, the younger generation, to start engaging themselves into this aspect of genocide. Because it is them that, or perhaps their children that might benefit from the processes now. Another issue is issues of that was yet by various speakers, especially our late genocide inquiry, to say that the discussion between Namibia and Germany have been taken too long, almost 5 years. I'm saying it's not too long, because the liberation of this country took more than 30 years. And I'm saying that the reparations of the Ovaherero, Ovaherero, and Namas is equal to liberation cycle that have taken place. So 5 years, 10 years is not good enough. We need to fight. And we need to fight for us to get, for the injustice to be done, or to be afforded the justice that is needed. The institutionalization, my comment have been taken by Mr. Katuo, to say that if us, as the descendants of the genocide, or the victims of the genocide, if we continuously speaking without action in terms of starting drafting the process of what, how we want to see the Act of Parliament look like, that we are talking about. the institutionalization. It needs to start with us so that we're able to sell not only the idea, but also the document, also the draft bill. It needs to start with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Shibumbi. I think with that note, I can only thank the viewers around the table here in the studio, as well as those who are listening or viewing globally on the Instagram and the Facebook, and everybody that was supposed to be here that is viewing out there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the day.
Mina, oh, odondera, enoveru, odombanje, enomina, odondera, enoveru, odombanje, enomina, odondera, enoviru, odombanje,